This is Lucas Farm. We bought this farm in 2009, and you know, when we first came here, I thought we wouldn't be here very long. It was less land than we were looking for, and it wasn't especially usable land, but honestly, something about it's just, I don't know, for now it's where we were meant to be, and clearly you can see the animals are quite content here. We have a sizable herd of dairy goats, Saanens, and Nubians. We have some poultry, mostly Wyandottes, and we've just added back, after a few years on hiatus, some really nice lavender Orpingtons. We have silver fox rabbits, which are a traditional homestead rabbit that originated in Ohio. And we have some, a lot of horses, and we also have a dairy cow, a miniature Jersey named Ellie, and a couple guard donkeys. So, I don't know, this place it's a little bit idyllic. You know, it's situated right outside of town. We're in a really nice neighborhood, which we're really fortunate to have. And in some ways, I don't know, we kind of have the best of both worlds. We're not in a rural area, but we have that feeling of country life. And I'll be the first to tell you, I like things that are convenient and modern, but I like the feel of being away from it all. And I think this place is really unique and special in that we have that. We absolutely get the best of both worlds. And I don't ever take that for granted. So when we moved here, our goal was to do something that was more sustainable. We're not sustainable. We are more sustainable. We provide, from our farm, 100% of eggs that we use. We provide all of our milk and occasionally some meat. It's not the end goal. I think the end goal is being able to do, 50% of what we consume, but we're not there. And I'm okay with that at this point. We do not grow our own grains or our own hay. The animals are really fortunate that they can forage a lot in the growing months, so they are able to be out and eating grass and weeds and brush, and that's important to me, that they are able to be out. They're not in feedlot conditions, but we do supply a great deal of hay from the local area. And so we just try to do the best we can on the 23 acres that we have. Lucas Farm was, it was a combination of things. Back in 2009, I was kind of in a place where, nothing important or anything that mattered. Nothing was happening. And I was at a point where I remembered things that I used to think about as a child. I used to think about the only thing I would like is to have a farm one day. I mean, that was the person I was at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, my entire teenage life as well. And I was fortunate to where I could see that dream kind of into fruition. Important to me because that was a way to remember a family that I had lost. And I knew that the farm would be something that would go on for many, many years. And I knew it would be a way to remember people that were very important to me. It was my father's last name. It was my brothers and my sister, their last name, and my maiden name. So every time I use that, I want to reflect back on what it means and the story behind it. And I think that's been able to happen through Facebook and through our website and letting people know our farm's name.
Hey, so we're here cleaning the buck pen out, and we're using the bedding to actually fill in all this mud that's around the front of the barn. And the bucks are in rut, so they're particularly gross right now. And someone on the farm has an interesting way of keeping away from them. So Christian decided he couldn't take it, and he is hiding in the barrel. Look here, Albert, look what's in here, a yummy treat. Come here, Albert. He doesn't care. Come on, raise up. Raise up. Taunt him. Be like, oh, he's banging his beard. There is the pee-pee beard in action. Yes, that's it. He's so proud of himself. Aren't you proud, Albert? Oh no, you're not going to get me. No, sir. No, sir.
Very happy with just being the crazy goat people. That's fine with us. Goats aren't for everybody. I think on 23 acres to be known as cool goat farmers is that's right up my alley. And we really like every aspect of the dairy goats. They're kind of complicated. The bucks are gross, and that's okay. I really think that they're something I'll always focus on, no matter how many acres we would have one day and where we would go. I see myself as the goat farmer. So I think that for me, farming and homesteading is, and I think it's about the journey. You know, I didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up with a homesteader who was no longer homesteading. Daddy was born in the hills of Lincoln County, West Virginia, and he was tired of homesteading by the time I was born in 1982. It was not romantic or going back to the land for him. It was a very hard, serious way of life. He never talked about it with nostalgia. He talked about it as if it was sweat and blood and tears. I don't know what really drew me to the idea of farming as fun or something I needed to do beyond wanting that connection to something worth living for. I'm really about spending time in a way that when you retell those stories years from now, people are on the edge of their seats like, wow, that's amazing. And for some people, thinking about retelling stories of farming as interesting may be a little silly, but I think that it's always an audience where that is something that is really amazing to people. It's real. That whole process, even though we are really part of the modern world and we're not off-grid and we're not self-sustaining, that whole journey where we are learning things that are useful and getting a little glimpse into what it might be like to sustain oneself, I don't know, it helps us see a little picture. I think growing up with a father who was so much older and part of a time period of America that was so many generations away from when I was born, given that I was born at the end of his life. I think that threaded this thing through me where I felt I missed something. I still feel like I missed something. I came along when things were so cheap and easy and fast. I never wanted things cheap and easy and fast. While I grew up in that time period, and I'm kind of adapted to that, and I do like to go down the road and buy what I'm looking for, I don't think that ever fulfilled part of me I do know that since the memories of my father revolved around livestock and off-grid life, that could never not be a central part of what I think about. So I think that's what led me here where I am today, even though it's a kind of a pale imitation of his life. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Luca's Farm. We appreciate that you follow us on Facebook and keep checking our website, and thank you guys.